Hello, and welcome to your next video presentation on social media. This video is to help give you guidelines on how to use social media in the Aldine district. So, what is social media? Social media is the online publication or presence that allows interactive communication among people in which they create, share, and exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. So how do we use social media in the educational sense? How do we use it to integrate in our district and in our schools safely? The buy-in in our district is getting there quickly, but we are using educational media like Schoology, Google+, and Google socially within the work and classroom environment. It is for Aldine and Aldine only. Schoology is safe, educational, and secure, and requires no parent approval. Students and staff are already embedded into the program through our SMS system. Edmodo is still safe, however, parent permission is required. At some point, Edmodo will not be used by the district, which may also mean that we may not be able to access it. That date has not been determined, but I highly suggest you move your resources to Schoology so you are prepared and ready. Social media sites, including personal, protect students' confidential information. Protect student confidential information. If a student is a minor, the employee also must obtain parental permission before the student is allowed access to the site or otherwise communicated with through the site or accounts. Both the parent and student must be given access to the site. Again, both the parent and student must be given access to the site as well as your administration. This goes for your teacher website as well. If your website has been changed, parents and administrators must be informed before you begin to post. Permission slips must be maintained in accordance with the district's records retention schedule. In addition, the site should be kept private so that only school officials and certain students and parents have access. Pop quiz. Let's see if you were paying attention. Question number 1. I'll give you about 10 seconds before I give the answer. Name a social media site other than Facebook, MySpace, or Twitter. Here are some answers. We have social media sites like Vine, Kick, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. Students and other kids are finding other ways to communicate socially. They gravitate towards these new sites because us educators and adults are finding use for social media as well. The quicker we get on these social media sites, the more the young students and others gravitate towards something else that is dedicated just for them. So it's very important that we are mindful and we stay updated on these type of sites and what their intentions are. Question number 2, I'll give 10 seconds. Edmodo and Schoology are educational social media sites. What is the major difference between the two? Here's your answer. Schoology is preferred learning management system or LMS in the district. It is our own version of keeping our social media within the Aldine district. Edmodo is still good for education. However, parental consent is required. Also, please keep in mind that Edmodo may not be used within our district at some point. Our last question, number 3, very simple. What is social media? 10 seconds. Let's take a look and see if your answer was correct. Going back to earlier, social media is the online publication or presence that allows interactive communication among people in which they create, share, and exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. Did you get every question right? If you did, give yourself a pat on the back. If you got at least 2, give yourself another pat. If you got 1, maybe you need to go back and rewind this video so you have a better understanding of social media. No worries. Okay, social media sites, including personal, continue. We are all educators and professionals, which means we need to conduct ourselves professionally on social media, on and off school grounds. This type of material includes, but is not limited to, text or pictures involving hate speech, nudity, obscenity, vulgarity, conduct illegal for a minor, or sexually explicit content, and also includes text messages between employees and students or minor which are romantic, flirtatious, or of sexual nature. This impairment constitutes grounds for termination or other disciplinary actions. Remember, you need to think before you post. Just because you are posting off-campus grounds, you need to make sure that you are thinking before you post. Again, not only are we professionals, we are also educators. Anybody can have access to our public information off campus if you give it, or if students or parents decide to search for you. I am not trying to scare you. I just want you to, again, remind you to think before you post. That goes for whether you are in the educational setting or not. Teaching or communicating with students on matters within the scope of the employee's professional responsibilities. Only certified and licensed employees will be authorized to maintain or use district-approved social network sites for the purpose of teaching or communication with students on matters within the scope of the employee's professional responsibilities. This again means only certified educators can communicate with students on social media sites that the district approves. You must get district administrative approval before creating a social media site to communicate with parents and students. Again, if you decide to create a Twitter account, MySpace, Facebook, Instagram for school purposes, you need to have district and administrative approval first before you get started. And again, the parents must be involved with what you are doing. Prohibited use. All other staff, including but not limited to bus drivers, cafeteria workers, janitors, secretaries, uncertified administrators, etc., are prohibited from communicating with students by telephone, text messaging, email, internet, and any other social media network. Administrative consent. Employees who maintain or use personal social networking sites, websites including blogs, or email accounts generally should not share the sites or email addresses with students. Generally, employees should use social media networking instruments like Twitter or Facebook or websites solely for the purpose of teaching and must have principal's approval. Administrative consent. The district recognizes the importance of online social media as a communication and e-learning tool. Public social media networks outside of the school are permissible, but may not be used for classroom communication and instruction by the educator or school-sponsored organization without prior authorization of the superintendent or his/her designee. Here's another pop quiz. Were you paying attention? Let's find out. True or false? Administration approves of the use of personal blogs on and off campus. That answer is false. Let's look at the key words. Personal blogs. You can have blogs that are on campus. However, make sure that you get the administrative approval before you start. True or false? Teachers can share, show content from their personal social network or blogs for educational purposes without cutting or pasting. That answer is also false. Let's look at some key words. Personal social network or blogs. Anything that is personal, you need to be careful about sharing it. Now, you can cut and paste if there is something that you have found that's educational within your personal social media network. It is okay to post that image as long as you do not have it connecting with your social media site. For example, if you are on vacation and you take a picture of a lake, it is okay to cut and paste that picture of the lake, but it is not okay to post your social media information around the picture of the lake. I hope that makes sense to you guys. True or false? If you are a janitor or secretary, you may communicate with students using text, social media, or etc. That is false. Social media best practices. Security. Use strong passwords or security questions when creating online accounts. Your information should not be easily guessable. Posting. Privacy does not exist in social media. Consider how a post could reflect the poster, district, and/or school if it became widely read. Due to the way information is stored, search engines can return posts many years after they are created. If the post is not something that you would say publicly, it is not something that should be posted via social media. Respectful. Recognize that any content posted to a social media site may encourage comments or discussion. Audience. Be aware that any information made available on social media can readily be made available to the general public. The wording or responses should be carefully considered in regards to how they may reflect on poster, district, and/or school. Audience. This may include students, parents, peers, and employees before making a post to ensure that the post will not alienate, harm, embarrass, or provoke. Accuracy. Ensure that the information that you are posting is accurate and that you are mindful of the copyright and intellectual property rights of others. Photography. Images posted on social media can be made available to the general public very easily. To protect your intellectual property, watermarks or large images sizes should be considered. Consult the district authorization form to use student photography and images and work located in the student parent handbook. It should also be an e-portal for us as well. And once again, congratulations. This information is also shared in our staff, not staffed, staff development folder in the August folder for future reference. You have completed the social media section for staff development course. Be sure to answer the following questions in Schoology to proceed to the next section. By passing and completing the questions, you are agreeing to use social media on the campus and in the district appropriately. Thank you very much.